Hello and welcome to the Physics Basket. And the topic that we are going to cover is the third topic on motion, distance, and displacement. So let's get started. So let's start with motion. Motion basically can be defined as the change in position of an object with respect to time. So if the body was at one point uh, or one position at one point of time and then it moves to another position at a different point of time, then the body can be said to be in motion. Motion is basically relative, it's not absolute. And it can be calculated with respect to a reference point. So if we don't have a reference point, it will be difficult for us to say the body is in motion. We can understand it with a simple example as below. We can see this ball is moving. But can we say what is the distance it has traveled? Unfortunately, no, because we don't know what is the reference point or the starting point from which this ball has traveled. Now, let us look at the same example with a different perspective. If we put a reference point around the ball, then can we find the distance? It becomes a little easier, right? So let's put a reference point, and if the ball starts moving from the reference point and stops somewhere, then we can see the distance that it has traveled, and we can probably measure it between the reference point or the starting point till the point where the ball has stopped, and that becomes the distance. So we can define distance as the the total path of the trajectory that the ball has followed from the starting point till the end point. So distance can be defined as the length of the complete path. This is the path that is traversed by the object. And basically, distance is a scalar quantity. That means it has a magnitude only and it doesn't have a direction. So we don't say that the ball has moved towards east or west or northeast or so on. But we can simply say the ball has moved a distance of 5 meters, 10 meters, 5 centimeters, 5 kilometers, and so on, which simply says that it is a scalar quantity and it talks about the magnitude a body has traveled. Let us consider another example and try to see what is the distance traveled by a ball when we have a reference point and the ball is not moving in a straight line, rather it moves in a zigzag way. So as we know already from the definition of distance, the total distance traveled by an object will be equal to nothing but the total length of the path of the trajectory. So in this case, if we try to estimate the trajectory, it would be something like this. All right. And as per the definition, these are the different path of the motion or the path of the trajectory that the ball has traversed through. If D1, D2, D3, D4, and D5 are the different distances that it has covered across the different trajectory, then the total distance traveled in this case will be nothing but equal to the length of the total distances it has covered across the different path, or the total path of the trajectory in this case. So it will be D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4 plus D5, as simple as that. So coming to displacement. Displacement is basically the change in position of an object during the course of motion. So we can say it's a point-to-point change in the position of an object. Additionally, we can also say that displacement is distance which is inclusive of the direction also, which means that it contains both magnitude as well as the direction. Let us consider this example again. So we have a reference point and the ball has moved in the zigzag path as initially. This is the trajectory of the motion. Now displacement, as we know, is the point-to-point trajectory between the end and the starting point. So this becomes displacement. So from the reference point till the end point, if we draw a straight line, that becomes displacement. And the direction of displacement is in the direction of motion or the movement of the object. So note that displacement, on the contrary, is a vector quantity. So guys, this brings us to the end of this topic, and the upcoming topic is the topic 4, which will be the problems on distance and displacement. Till then, thank you and subscribe to my videos to stay tuned.